Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. Social/religious norms aside, how would you like your death to be mourned/celebrated? New Orleans has a tradition of marching slowly to the graveyard, mourning. Then a ceremony and a dancing jazz party on the way back to the church, where food and drinks are. The party continues from there. I've always thought this is good psychology, mourn, but celebrate also. Ola native, the philosophy of celebrating the life of the deceased is one of my favorites. When my friend Ian died, we all got together and watched his favorite shows, cooked his favorite foods, and drank his favorite booze, Tullamore whiskey and a variety of cheap beer. Honestly, I think it's one of the healthiest and most productive ways to mourn. Gulf Coast native myself, it's such a good send-off. So thankful for our African French-Irish gumbo of traditions. Jazz funerals. I have a tendency to be late for a lot of things. When I die, I would like one of the following said about me at the service, and written on my tombstone. If I outlived the average life expectancy age, late for death, as he was for most things in life. If I died before the average life expectancy age, finally, something he wasn't late for. What if you die exactly at the life expectancy age? Maybe right on time, finally. I want to be dropped like 500 or so feet from the sky, and wherever I land is just a surprise. Cannonball funeral. I think there's a funeral parlor that cremates your body and put the ashes in a big ass firework and blows you up over the sky. I'd love to placed in a wooden ship soaked in gasoline and pushed into the sea while an archer shoots a fiery arrow from the bay. The people will then mourn me watching my ship on fire and crumbling into the sea while a bagpiper plays sad Irish music. Then, after a while, people will start questioning the Irish sad songs since I'm Italian, but I will be gone forever not to be bothered by them. Nordic ceremony. Irish music. Italian family. How American. I always thought that I wanted to be cremated and my ashes spread into the ocean on a full moon. Now I'm thinking, just fill my belly with seeds and bury me in a forest, so I can become fertilizer for the trees and flowers and have some trees and flowers grow out of me. Or be cremated and ask for your cremains to be put in a hole, and a tree planted on top. That's what I did with my dad's remains, a peach tree, and my mom's, a shadblow tree, her favorite. For my grandma I used a wild rose bush. It's fun to think of the right tree for each person, like for someone who was a little mean in life I would use a crab apple tree. For a sweetie pie, a drift of daffodils. This is so much better than a headstone. Or move to Washington State and have your body composted. Source. The Coffin dancers carrying my grave, and dancing, while playing Visto Astrumia in the background. Coffin dancers. Please call them by their official name, Paul Ballers. Silly, they're called Ekradasses. R/car says goodbye. Thank you very much. I want my body to be cured, stuffed with candy, and hung from the ceiling so the funeral guests can beat the candy from my dead body like a pie-eater. I'll put the fun in funeral. Send me a funeral invite, buddy. I'll bring a clown nose for everyone. If I'm invited, I'll bring a tricked out banner that says /u/fextfulofashes puts the fun in funeral. Put snacks in my fingers. Put tastes in my toes. Put candies and nibbles and cakes in my nose. Put sweets in my sternum and pies in my thighs. Put popcorn and puddings and pears in my eyes. And when I am filled with these flavors divine, this sweetness to sip and to savor supine, then hang me and strike me and smile when you've struck. And since I'm departed, I won't give a fuck. After my death, just throw me in the trash. Had to go further than I expected for this. If it's summertime, I just hope you die close to garbage day. You'll want your family to remember you fondly after all. John Cleese at Graham Chapman's funeral is probably one of the best eulogies ever. I would love if a friend of mine did something in a similar vein when I kick the bucket. Edit, grammar. At my dad's funeral, when everyone was asked if they had anything to say about the departed, someone shouted from the back, "I'm only here because he owes me a $5." Not the same, but this reminded me of it. So much better to have Craig at a funeral rather than downbeat cliches. Good riddance, I hope he fries, in the most serious tone. Legendary. Very fitting. Better yet, good riddance, the freeloading bastard, I hope he fries. Joke answer, Tattoo a treasure map on my body for my loved ones to follow and discover that the true treasure was the friends we made along the way. Serious answer, I'd hope that my body would be put to use as efficiently as possible. Organ donations, leftover parts given to science, leftovers to be burned / buried / eaten, whatever works for the survivors. I'm not using my body anymore. Then a small gathering, with food / music / fun, where people take turns coming to the microphone and sharing a memory they have of me. No big eulogies, no mountains of flowers, nothing big or fancy. Just my loved ones remembering me, and my love for them, for a little while. I agree with your serious answer 100%. I'm in the medical field and so many patients die waiting for organ transplants. It is truly heartbreaking. Donating to science is so important to support new discoveries too. The best funerals I have been to and left feeling somewhat happy and feeling some closure have been the ones with lots of stories told. The stories make you remember the good. I want my remains to be scattered over Desalad, but I do not want to be cremated. My spouse, a wildlife photographer, said that instead of spreading my ashes over my favorite part of Yellowstone that he'd throw me out limb by limb so he could get some amazing photographs. Sounds like your husband and I have a similar sense of humor. I want to become a tree. I don't want my family going broke after I die. If my first choice isn't an option, I want them to do something sustainable and affordable. You read my mind. Imagine huge forests of the dead instead of graveyards. Creepy but good for the environments and helps growth. I thought about having a family forest that everyone is buried in that starts with one tree in the center who is a common ancestor to everyone in the forest. Edit. To add to this, you could have plaques at each tree telling you a little bit about each person, who their parents were, their children, the cause of death, an interesting fact, etc. That's a beautiful concept. There is something similar called green burial or natural burial, where bodies are buried with natural materials in meadows sprinkled with trees. I've arranged to be buried in one of these places when I die. I want Another One Bites the Dust played at my funeral. And Highway to Hell, of course. I'd insist on my rights here, but I doubt many will be at my funeral. For my dad's celebration of life, I had made a playlist of 60s 70s / 80s music that was on shuffle. Right before the guy came to do a speech about grief and the loss of my dad, I turned the music off. There was random little laughs in the crowd and I didn't know why. Someone later pointed out I stopped it right on Another Bites the Dust. We all had a good laugh about it after. I don't know if you are supposed to put joke answers here, but there is a type of funeral where instead of it being sad, everyone there celebrates the fun and crazy times they had with you. We did that for my sister. She had said she wanted a party at her favorite bar, so that's what she got. It was so nice being able to focus on her life and hobbies. Listening to her friends share their memories of her really made it a lovely celebration of her life. Wow. I am so happy your family respected her wishes and did that. What a fun and lovely way to celebrate her life. Just being in her favorite place is so meaningful. I couldn't post this without saying I'm sorry for your loss. I couldn't imagine losing one of my siblings. This is what we did for my grandma. It honestly helps you come to peace with their death way quicker, because you get to appreciate them instead of being sad. Edit, wording. Play a Kahoot with questions about my life. The person that wins gets my will. I want to do this but with Jeopardy. I'll do this with Psych. I want to be cremated. I don't want to be buried and take up space on this earth cause I don't see the point. I want all my friend and family to go have a celebration of life at the beach and eat burgers cause it's my favorite food lol. I don't want it to be sad, want everyone to be happy because I lived my life to the fullest and I feel I will be in a way better place. I have a chronic disease and have had lot of time to come to terms with death. I'd rather be buried with olive seeds and have a tree grow from my dead body. I think if one wants to be buried and taking space on this earth, it is okay to make a tree out of yourself because you are bringing life back to it. I know someone that said a friend of theirs lost their 20-something-year-old son. They took his ashes and mixed with soil to grow a marijuana plant lol. His friends still come over, go visit, and smoke him. Weed is legal in my state. I want my body donated to the body farm with one special stipulation. I want to be put in a car trunk and spring-loaded so that when some hapless grad student comes to check on my decomposition, my corpse pops out at them like a fermenting eyeless jack in the box. Jesus fuck, that's spectacular. I mean, I'd just be happy for someone to show up, to be honest. F. Whatever my family wants. I will be dead. I do not care at all. That's my thought. I don't care, I won't be there. I just don't want anyone to use up resources, so no coffin or burial, no expensive funeral. No celebration whatsoever. I realize my time is almost up, so I hike out to some super remote location where no human has ever set foot before. I lie down and listen to birdsong as I slowly thirst/starve to death. My body is scavenged by animals as it decomposes. No human ever lays eyes on any part of my remains. It's all totally natural. Maybe nobody even realizes I'm gone for months or even years. Problem is that it would be really hard to hike to such a location even while healthy, much less while close to death. Some dude committed suicide in Germany or Russia or something this way. He hiked out into the woods and set up camp. Journaled the entire thing. Just basically stopped eating and drank very little. I'm pretty sure it took like 60 days for him to finally die. Someone found his journal and made a documentary about it. https://am/s/www.dailymail.co.uk/news article -2355 855/amp/gardener -47 staff death camping woods kept -58 day diary detailing effects eating HTML